Now, you've described a couple of characteristics of the cap rate. How is it used? Before we get into your research, I mean, how is it used in the commercial real estate industry?
Well, notwithstanding the fact that our cap rate survey is our CBRE's most popular research piece every year, bar none, because it's a tremendous resource to look across multiple asset types, multiple markets quickly. Now I'm going to go full circle. We use cap rates too much. And why is that? Because they tell you something, but they don't tell you nearly enough. They give you a very good snapshot, but they don't go into the nuances that I've described a moment ago as it relates to things such as what is your expenses you're going to have to spend, your capital expenditures to stabilize your building to get to a stabilized yield. I prefer looking at it on a discounted cash flow analysis, perhaps better than looking at it on a cap rate basis. But nevertheless, it's a very good, quick snapshot of where values are in the market, and you can do it on a relative apples-to-apples basis across market and across asset types.
Right. Okay, so you talked about discounted cash flow, but I want to kind of just continue on this. How is the cap rate used? So there's two ways that it's used. One is to look at forward-looking in terms of value, so now you said it's not yield, right? It's not yield, but at the end of the day, you are looking at projecting when your building is going to be stabilized and what kind of returns you're going to get at that time. So that's one way, but it's also used to calculate value, isn't it? In what way is it used for that when you're looking at a property?
Sure. So let's assume that you have a property that is generating $1,000 a year in net operating income. And the property next door, let's say it's an industrial asset, because an industrial asset, they typically have lower cap rates today than many other asset classes because they're so popular. And let's assume that the asset next door traded at a 5 cap. You say, oh, well, I'm going to put a 5% yield on my $1,000, and whatever 1,000 times 20 is, which is $20,000, that must be the value of my building. If my building it generated $10,000 of NOI, it would be a $200,000 building if the building next door is a perfect comp. If it's not a perfect comp, then you adjust the cap rate. Maybe your building isn't as well located. Maybe it needs more CapEx. Maybe your lease of your tenant doesn't run as long. Maybe there are other things. It doesn't have as good of parking. But maybe it's a superior asset. Maybe it's the best industrial building, brand spanking new with perfect credit tenant. They prepaid their 10 years of rent in advance, and they're going to cut you a check. You'd get a lower cap rate.